everyone, welcome to or back to my crochet channel where I crochet it forward in this tutorial by showing you how to make this really cute summer toddler top. Also, it could be like a tank top, but it's really cute. It's worked up in extended double crochet, very easy. I show you how to do that, and we do some straps. We make 2 panels, sew them together, or slip stitch the shoulders together, straps. And then we sew the sides. We do 1 round of single crochet, and then in the collar area as well as the front and bottom panels, we make a Picot border, all of which I will show you how to do. And then as a bonus, I'll show you how to embroider this daisy, this really cute 8-petal daisy. This size that I'm making fits 12 months to 18 months. It's for my granddaughter Kinsley, and she was modeling it in the thumbnail as well as some of these pictures. This is the one that we make in the tutorial. It's made in white with some mint trimming as well as a mint daisy. So let's get started. For this pattern, you will need a 4.0 letter G hook. You will need a sewing needle, some markers, optional, and some scissors. You will need 2 balls of just cotton yarn. Now this is 104 yards, 96 meters, 2.1 ounces, 60 grams. You'll need at least 1.5 of these for the toddler size. And also I have just cotton, some scraps if you're going to do the daisies. And if you want to make the matching hat, this little bucket hat, summer hat, I will link the video at the end so you can just click on it and see that it's got all the different sizes. But yeah, I'll also show you how to make the daisy. So the first thing you want to do is chain 22 plus 1, which gives you 23. And then in the second chain from the hook, we're going to make an alternate chain 2. And all that is making a single crochet and a chain 2. So that's our alternate chain 2, and we'll be using that a lot in the pattern. So the next thing we're going to do is make 1 extended double crochet or EDC in each stitch all the way to the first. And this is how we make an extended double crochet. We yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, pull up a loop. We have 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 1 for your extension, and then finish your double crochet. That's all that is. We're just adding another yarn over and only pulling through 1 and then completing the double crochet. Again, I'll show you. Yarn over, go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 2. So make 1 EDC all the way down to our beginning chain. So you should finish round 1 with 22 EDCs. The next 4 rows we are going to increase on ends only. And so what we're going to do is pull up our loop a little bit, turn our work, and we're going to make an alternate chain 2, which always counts as our first EDC, extended double crochet. And again, that's a single crochet, and a chain 2. And now we're going to make 2 EDCs in the same stitch for a total of 3. So we'll be making 3 stitches in our first and last stitch. 3 EDCs in our first and last stitch, and 1 EDC in between. I'm sure you already know how to do that. Again, that's yarn over, pull up a loop, go through 1 loop, pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2. So go ahead and make 1 EDC all the way until you get to the last stitch, and we'll do that together. I just finished my 23rd EDC, and I'm about to make my last 3 in the last stitch. Remember, this is a single crochet and a chain 2. You might want to turn your work toward you to see where that first chain is. Make sure you try to go through 2 loops and make 1, so that's 24, 25, and 26. So at the end of your second row, you should have 26. Moving on to row 3, we're going to turn our work, pull up our loop a little bit, and go make our alternate chain 2, which is a single crochet, chain 2, and just a pointer, since we're going to be working in these chains, it might be a good idea to make those a little loose. And again, we're starting and ending our first and last stitches with increases, 2 increases. So we're going to make 3, 2, 3, and 1 EDC in between, and I will meet you at the end of this row. 1 EDC each stitch all the way until your last stitch. Before your last stitch, you should have 27 EDCs. And I also want to mention, be mindful of your stitches. I know that sometimes we might mistake in this last EDC and forget about the chain 2, the alternate chain 2, and then turn our work, but that will throw your counting off. So you definitely don't want to do that. And again, in your last stitch, and you can turn your work and you can see that chain that looks like a V, we're just going to go right in the middle of that and make 3 for our increase. So that's 27, 28, 29, 30. At the end of row 3, you should have 30 EDCs. Now I'm going to let you go ahead and work the other 2 rows, but I will let you know the count that you should have after each row. At the end of row 4, you should have 34 EDCs. At the end of row 5, you should have 38 EDCs. All right, so for the starting row 6, we're just going to turn our work, and we are going to make 1 extended double crochet in each stitch. We will always start with an alternate chain 2, which is a single crochet and a loose 2 chains, and then make 1 EDC each stitch. You should have 38 EDCs by the time you get to the end, and you need to do this for 11 rows. After your 11 rows of 38 EDCs per row, you should have a total of 15 rows. Chain 1 and fasten off. Rewind the video or make a second one if you wrote it down. 1 for the front and 1 for the back. Take one of your pieces and decide what is going to be the front or the back. And then we're going to fasten on. We're going to make our straps. Straps are going to be super easy. You can fasten on any way you want. I'm just fastening on right here. 1, 2, and we're going to make 5 EDCs. So that's going to count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just like we did with the front and back panels, we are not going to be chaining 1. We're just going to turn our work, and then with the loose yarn on our hook, we're just going to make that alternate chain 2, which always again counts as our first EDC. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then with that alternate chain 2, we are just going to go in the middle of that top chain. no chain 1, turn our work, and go ahead and work 5 EDCs for 10 rows. After you have finished your 10th row, go ahead and grab your back piece and make sure that the front is in the inside. And now we're just going to slip stitch the last 5 stitches after we turn our work. Sorry about that. So we're going to match up these stitches. Oops. And remember, this first one has 3 in it, so it's going to be kind of big. It'll be easy to slip. We're going to go into our second one, match the corresponding one, slip. That's 2, 3, 4, and then of course our alternate chain 2. Try to get in the center of that so it will be even. Last stitch, slip, chain 1, and fasten off. Leave enough that you're going to sew as much as you need to sew. So you have 1 strap done, and just repeat the process. You can rewind the video, or if you already know, it's 5 EDCs for 10 rows, and then we slip stitch. After you have finished your second strap, now what we want to do is place markers at the beginning of our regular rows, not the increase rows, but the regular rows, and you want to match both of those, the front and the back. And then we also want to come up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna mark the top of that, and then match it with the back one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we're gonna have slits, and I'll show you how that comes together. So really, all we have to do is sew this part. This right here is part of the armhole, and that comes together like that. And then we do the little side slit. Now, if you don't want the side slit, then, you know, by all means, go ahead and sew your sides all the way down. But I like that. I think it gives an extra flair. Before we start sewing our sides, I just want to mention to be sure that you're on the wrong side. See, that's where we slip stitch. So we're still doing that because we got to flip this inside out to get the front part. Just want to mention that. And I want to show you real quick. I mean, you can sew this together however you want. I'm just going to do a standard whip stitch. And I always like to go through both panels, the front and the back, and then tie a knot. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you have a different way, by all means, go for it. Okay. So from here, we're just going to take the outer loops and just gently, not tightly, sew them together. Again, that's just the outer loops on both panels. And then we don't want it tight because what will happen is it'll bunch up. Let me see if I can get this closer. And then that outer loop there. So the 2 inner loops are gonna, you know, the closest, that we're not gonna touch those. We're just touching the other ones. That way we get a nice little clean seam on the right side. And just do the best you can. But go ahead and do that for both sides. You want to come down here. If you're going to go for the slit, fasten off. If not, go all the way down and then come to the other side. Same thing. All the way here, fasten off. Or if you're going to go for the full side, go ahead and sew this together all the way down and fasten off. Okay, once you have finished sewing up your sides here, go ahead and flip your work inside out. And you can see right here is where I slip stitch. So I'm going to use that as the back. And then what we're going to do next is make a single crochet round, and then we'll finish up with a picot. But we're not going to do the picot all the way around. I'll show you here. We're just going to do the single crochet all the way around. We're going to do like the shoulders and the underarms and the collar. We're going to do all a single crochet row, and then only do a picot row right here around the collar, as well as the front and back, and not even at the slits, because that didn't look right, so I just left it like that. So that's what we're going to do. You can continue on with your same color, or you can pick a contrasting color. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is, I normally start in the back, so I'm going to flip it, and I always start in the middle. So then I just fold my work and then get to that middle stitch, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull in my new yarn or the same yarn, and then go ahead and chain one. And in that same stitch, I'm going to go ahead and work in my end. I'm going to do a single crochet. Okay, so we want to make one single crochet in each stitch. Okay, and then I will show you how to work it right here when we get to the slits. Alright, so here we're on our first corner, and in that corner we want to make 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then for the sides, anytime you're working up the sides, whether it's here or right here, we want to make at least two single crochets per row, and try to space them out as best as you can. I know like sides can be super challenging. I like to go in between stitches so I don't have these super noticeable gaps. So that's that one, and then go into our second row, and then our third row. Again, try to go through 2 stitches at a time. Okay, that's 1, 2. Oh, here's the third row. Oops, I didn't even grab a stitch there. Let's just do this. That's like the tip of our 4th row. And now we're here at the join. See where we're at the join. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this stitch. Let me see if I can make this a little bit closer. So again, here we are at the join. Whoops, lost. Okay, so I'm going to just go into this stitch. Always make a stitch at the join, a single crochet, and then come back to the other side, and then just start recounting 2 single crochets per row. Remember, we have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go ahead and do your single crochets all the way around here, and then I'll meet you back at the beginning. Alright, so I'm on my last stitch right here. Just going to do my single crochet, and then I'm going to slip to my first to join. And I'm going to leave a sewing tail. Okay, so the bottom is done, right? Super cute. But I did want to let you guys know that count your stitches when you come down here before your join. Like for me, I got 9. I don't know how I got 9 when it's 2 per row and it's 4 rows, but I did the join. I didn't count that, so I evenly spaced out 9 stitches here before I did the corner of 2. So you do the exact same thing on your other side so that your sides are even. So now all we have to do is 1 single crochet all around here, and again it's 2 per row. Try to space them out as evenly possible. Here in the corners, I would just do 1 here and 1 there, whatever looks good for you, and then come back out and do the outside. Okay, it's the exact same concept as I showed you down here, and then we can finish up with our Picot border, as well as the the daisy right here, which is super easy as well. I'm finishing up my single crochet row. I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch to the top of my first single crochet. I'm trying to work this end in, but maybe I need to drop that for now. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you right now how to do your edging. And the Picot, some of you are familiar with it. There's a zillion ways to do a Picot, P-I-C-O-T. But I like to chain three, 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch to the first. Go into your next stitch. We're going to make a Picot every 4th stitch. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. If it was every 4th stitch. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Every 4th stitch. So then again right here we're going to slip stitch, chain 3, 2, 3, and then slip stitch again to the first chain, and then single crochet 1, 2, 3, slip stitch in your 4th, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch to the first chain, and then single crochet 3, and you're just going to repeat that. I'm coming up on my last 3 stitches, which I am just super happy about that I ended up evenly on this. So all I'm going to do is just slip stitch to that first Picot. Now mind you, it's going to be a little tight because we have that starting stitch, you know, all that. But what I'm going to do is bring this tail into the back, well, into the inside with the other tails. So that's what the back of it looks like, and this kind of came out pretty even too. I'm pretty happy about. And then I just wanted to point out, I did make, for the corner, I made a stitch in that first EDC, and then I started counting over 2 for each stitch, and then I did 20 single crochets, 20 over here. That's the important part. Remember when we do clothing, and you know, some of you seasoned crocheters probably know this, but for the beginners, write your stitches down, how many stitches you got from this strap to that strap, so it'll be even on the other, how many stitches you got this way for the armpit, you know, so it'll be even that way. And that's going to make a big difference in your work. So go ahead and make your single crochet row right here for the shoulder and the arm, underarm, and then make your picots. Start right here at the corners. Make your picot for the front and the back. I'll meet you back here, and then we can move on with our little cute daisy. All right, once you've done your border and edging up here in the collar part as well as the front and back, we're going to go ahead and do our little daisy, and this is optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. All I'm doing is folding my work right now and marking my middle, my center. That way it gives me an idea where to put my daisy so it's not crooked. Now what you want to do is thread your needle. Okay. And again, this is optional. Find out where you want the center of your daisy to be. Okay. So be sure you leave enough strand to work with in the inside. Okay. So now what we want to do is go back in the same area of the center. Find out where you want the tip of your first petal to be. We're going to wrap our yarn around that, pinch it in the middle, and then pull through. Okay? Then go behind there, that top petal, and come back out the middle. So you have one petal secure. See if you can see that. Now what we're going to do is rotate our work and make our second petal on the opposite side. Okay, again, we're going in the middle. Find out where you want the top of your petal to be. Wrap your yarn around it. Pinch the center and pull your yarn through. Okay, we're going to go back behind that stitch and come back out the middle again. We've got two petals done. I'll show you how to make, I'm going to take this stitch marker out. I'll show you how to make two, and then, four, and then I'll do the other four kind of fast. Now we're doing the side. Again, we're going back in the middle. Find out where you want the tip of your next petal to be. You kind of want them even. Wrap your yarn around there. Pinch the center. Pull through. Go behind there. Behind the top of that petal you just made. Come back out the center. Okay, now we're going to rotate it the other way. Back into the center, out where you want the tip of your petal. Wrap your yarn. Whatever side your yarn is on, that's the side you want to wrap it on. Okay? That way you have some clean petals. They're not like crossed. So there's four. All right, so I have my yellow cotton yarn here, just a strip, maybe 8 inches. We're going to come in, from the inside, and then again, pinch your tail so you have a tail. We're going to do a French knot. Any of you that follow me know I love the French knot. I use it a lot. For those that don't, I'll show you how to make this real quick. So what you do is you want to go in the same vicinity of the center, grab some yarn. Can be a little challenging. I know we have a whole bunch of thread in here. Okay, that'll work for me. What we're going to do is just pinch, don't pull it all the way through, but pinch the bottom of it and then wrap it around, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go 6, okay? And then just pinch the top. I like to pull the end with the thread there up a little bit and slowly push it out. That came out too fast. Let's see if it works. And what you do is you just want to keep all those loops together as best you can. Secure them down at the bottom. Oh, it turned out okay. And then go back out the center and then there. Now you can also, there you go. What it does is it lifts a little bit, gives that little 3D effect, and then just go ahead and tie your end. Super easy. And again, this is optional. You don't have to make this if you don't want to. Now I'm gonna, my last segment here, I'm going to show you how to sew in your ends. For the seasoned crocheters, you can disregard, but for the beginners, I will show you how to sew in your ends. All right, really quick. So I just threaded one of these tails, and you want to go through the same color yarn, if at all possible. Now my tails are pretty short. I like them like that. I don't need them very long because I can work with the very end of the sewing needle. So what you want to do is come through, but not the same way. Maybe skip a stitch or two and then come in the opposite way. Now I'm coming in with the end of my needle and not the tip because it's a very short end. So as long as you go in 2 directions, you should be secure. I know it's hard with cotton yarn, and then just go ahead and cut it from there. So I'm going to work in all my ends, and I will meet you back and show you our finished product. All right, so this is the finished product. I was going to suggest that maybe you like stretch it out a little bit, especially after you've worked in your ends if you haven't done that. And then it'll kind of fit pretty good. That's the front, that's the back. Really like how it worked out. I'm going to let you know how to make this bigger and right after this, but I want to thank everyone for watching. I apologize for any confusion. Please don't forget to comment, like, share the video, tag somebody that you know would like to try this pattern out, and don't forget to subscribe. And together, let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.